Welcome back to another episode of the 5-Minute Career Hack. Oh my gosh, I can't believe we are in this space, almost wrapping up season 1. This week, we're going to be talking about your personal board of directors. So have you thought about it? Who's on your board? Can you answer that? Well, before you do, let's get grounded on a definition. And I want you to be able to answer who is on your board of directors in this season for a specific purpose. But first, let's go through some qualifications. So when we think about a board of directors, according to Indeed, here are some key points that we want to underscore first. 1, it is an elected group of people. Okay, underscore, circle that, highlight, as your pastor would say. Make sure you make a note, okay? It is an elected group of people. Board of director provides organizational structure. That's the second point we want to have. 2 are corporations, also including nonprofit. The third point I want to highlight is the members' collective expertise, meaning they don't all have the same expertise. They have different, right? But the sum total of them provides valuable insight into the aspects of running a business. So there's several things that their expertise can be in. It can be in finance, it can be legal, it can be marketing, it could be HR, it could be raising money, development, whatever that may be. The next point is they strive to align the interests of several competing factors, right? Normally it's your shareholders, it's your managers, so that own the company. And the last, which I think is the most important, is they are expected, not only this expected, they are required. Yeah, required. That's a better word. That's what I was thinking about. To always act in the best interest of the company. So I come back to you and ask, who is on your board of directors? If you go through those, let's pop them up on the screen. Who have you selected? It's an elected group. Who's providing organizational structure for you? Who has an expertise or multiple expertise that you rely on? Who is striving to align the competing interests of your life? And then who is acting in the best interest of you? That's our top 5. That's what we need them to do. 2 references that I used outside of my own experience here that I want to share with you and give to you this week to think about this if you're stuck. The first is a book called The Memo by Minda Harts. In this memo, she basically gives so many tips, but I'm just going to extract one, and it's around networking. I love the tips she gives because she reminds us it doesn't have to be whipped up. It's actually a pretty simple concept when we think about networking, and she gives us some tips, and I'll provide those this week. But she tells us to think about our board of directors as your top 8. Why I love it is because we're around the same age, so I can relate to a lot of things that she talks about. And if you remember MySpace, raise your hand if you remember MySpace, and remember you had to have your top 8 friends, okay? And some of you may be thinking, I didn't have MySpace, maybe it was before your time from an older or younger standpoint, but you can look it up if not, it was a jewel. But you probably remember T-Mobile's Fave 5. And there's probably some other things you can think about that requires you to star and notate your favorites for different reasons, right? Maybe it can be on frequency. You know, like a lot of times an app or a phone gives us those memories or it gives you your top pictures. But when you think about your board of directors, think about your top 8. And they're going to be seats that you need to fill, okay? She also references a hip-hop icon. We can call him an icon. I think so. With Sean Combs in his song where he says, hey, maybe your friends can meet my friends and then we can be friends. That's as simply as it can be when you start thinking about the seats that need to be filled. So maybe what I mean by that is there's some areas that you need and expertise that you don't have today in your network. Maybe there's someone that you need to show you how to fundraise and you don't know that. But if you have a friend or a friend of a friend that can introduce you, then maybe you all could be friends, okay? So I would tell you to write that down. So if you're creating your top 8, you're writing down your board of directors. If you already have those people identified, you're golden. Maybe you need to add another seat. Think about it in that standpoint. Here's some other things I want you to consider as well is to be responsible with the relationships that you have. How do you keep these people engaged? So maybe you're thinking as you go through this, oh, I know somebody that does that, but I haven't talked to them in forever. Oh my gosh, I wonder what they're up to. Or I'm watching them from afar continue to grow their career or their expertise, or they seem like they're just really doing well. I love the value that they add in this space, whatever that may be, but you are not managing that relationship. I want to give you some tips that she provides that will help you. So not only identifying, but to continue to cultivate those relationships. And it's around like, how do you use your technology to keep in touch? So do you have a journal? Do you have calendar notifications to make sure that you're reaching out? It can be, you know, that their kids are graduating, you know, their kids are in sports, and you're reaching out to ask about those things that happen regularly or seasonally, telling them happy birthday. The biggest piece of it is you need to know what's important to them as well. And you don't want to be a person that only reaches out when you need something, right? That's how you learn. That's how you grow. How many times have you called someone and they're like, oh my gosh, I just learned this, and you're picking up and just getting so much value out of just connecting, even if it's their energy and their outlook on something, okay? The second tip she gives is make sure that you connect at least quarterly. I got a tip from one of my college friends. She would always talk about, you need to always put yourself in front of people. So if you're traveling for work or you're doing this, just connecting and letting people know what you're doing. I can't tell you how many opportunities come your way just by someone knowing that you have an expertise in that area. So for instance, if wellness is something that's really important to you and a person sees you having a healthy lifestyle, you may be asked to be an expert on a panel or a board or a special project that they have at their company. Just a simple example. And then last but not least is, how do you personalize those times that you reach out, okay? I have a colleague that, when I tell you she is the most thoughtful person ever. I mean, if she doesn't have her own stationery business, I don't know, but she always creates personalized cards, whether you're getting a promotion, and it's not even just a promotion, things that are important to you. Whenever she has something that she knows that you would like, she's willing to share that, if it's a coupon or whatever it may be, or like, hey, would you like this? Here's a book. And I always remember that, and I'm always thinking about her. So when she calls and is asking, hey, I have this recruiting opportunity, I'm looking for a candidate, I am all over it trying to support her because of just the energy that she creates. And I know I'm in her board of directors when it comes to that area of recruiting or whatever it may be from an HR standpoint, because she utilizes me in that way. And I appreciate being able to serve her in that way. With that being said, as one of our founders, Jamila Brown, says, is you have to act in the best interest of your enterprise. Okay, so for me, that would be Alicia Wade's enterprise, right? Filling your name. So when you're thinking about creating your board, you're thinking about who's going to sit on that, ensure that it's people that are going to act in the best interest of enterprises. So take care, and hopefully this helps you get better, faster, but remember, you can go further together. So do that with your friends. Take care.